Hey everyone, I'm Princess Link, and welcome back to Metal Gear Solid 2. So, Chapter 4, 2 years later. The sky was a deep cloudless blue, but it was also dotted with several military and police helicopters making passes over the Big Shell facility in the Hudson River. The Verrazano Bridge was sealed off as soldiers and policemen stood in alert position. Global positioning satellites relayed data in real time to various monitors. The scattering of bright lights over the harbor area indicated the scope of the security forces at work guarding the plant. Something big was up, and it would be a challenge to keep the media from finding out about it before it was too late. The Big Shell. Big Shell, go inside, look around, it seems alright. Vacuum salt and balls can't get through, no potions for food and fire. I'm sorry. Adventure Time. It's a good show. Screw you. A massive environmental containment unit built to prevent ecological contamination due to the massive spread of crude oil spilled during the sinking of the USS Discovery 2 years earlier. An impressive structure, the plant was made up of shells 1 and 2 that appeared, when looking down at them from the sky, to be 2 hexagons connected end to end. Both hexagons were actually composed of a central core surrounded by 6 likewise hexagon-shaped struts that served different purposes in the facility's functions. The struts named A through F in Shell 1 and G through L in Shell 2, and the central cores, labeled 1 and 2, stood on the ocean floor and jutted straight up above the surface. The struts were connected to their respective adjacent structures by a series of open-air bridge walkways. Shells 1 and 2 were connected by a bridge between struts D and G. The central cores were connected to the struts only by 2 bridges each. The B to C, E to F, H to I, and K to L bridges were T sections. The connecting conduits led to the respective central cores. Mechanis core. I'm sorry. Hold on. The roofs of each strut and central core were plainly visible to the military personnel and the helicopter pilots.
Snake, do you remember the sinking of that tanker 2 years ago?
The colonel's voice came through loud and clear over the codec. The young operative, now known as Snake, swam unseen by the prying eyes above the surface. He'd pushed off from a fishing boat in lower Manhattan and, with the aid of elaborate scuba gear provided by Foxhound, was able to swim out into the bay toward Big Shell. He held a cylindrical oxygen module in his mouth that still enabled him to speak, and he wore a scroll-like pair of goggles that allowed him to see clearly in the murky darkness. "Of course!" Snake replied. That's my Raiden voice. Raiden.
Terrorists blew a hole in an oil tanker full of crude barely 20 miles off the shore of Manhattan. Your classic nightmare. It didn't take long for the government to put an oil fence around the whole mess, and then that massive offshore cleanup facility went up inside.
I hear the Big Shell's cleanup isn't quite over yet.
It takes time, but in the meantime, the shell's become a landmark, a symbol of environmental protection.
Above the surface, the choppers flew low, dodging dozens of squawking seagulls that flew around the shell. Seagulls! Stop it now! Leave me alone. I love that lip reading. Military and police craft bobbed on the water near the bridge trestles, blocking sea traffic into the harbor. Had Snake been tuned into the same frequency, he would have heard a SEAL team leader's radio call, ordering teams Alpha and Bravo to deploy onto the Big Shell as scheduled. "Now are you going to tell me what I'm doing here, Colonel?" Snake asked. As far as he knew, the colonel he was talking to was the legendary Colonel Roy Campbell, veteran Foxhound leader. At least Snake assumed it was he. Snake had never met the man in person, but had received periodic communications from him during the training.
Approximately 6 hours ago, the Big Shell was seized by an unarmed group.
"Do we have ID?"
There's evidence that they are former members of the Navy SEALs Special Anti-Terrorist Training Squad, Dead Cell. Russian private army members may also be involved. It's a highly trained group, and they have the Big Shell under complete control.
Who's the leader?
At one time, Dead Cell's leader was Colonel Reginald Jackson, but he was arrested recently and thrown into the brig. As for Dead Cell's boss, now we'll discuss that later. The choppers moved in closer to the structure. A SEAL leader called out to his men to get ready to fast rope down to shell 1. Snake continued to swim below the surface with his infrared goggles activated. He approached the aerial fence that was emblazoned with military warning signs. No entry, danger, high voltage, authorized personnel only, decontamination facility, but he ignored them. Dead fish floated in front of the barrier. As Snake came closer, he saw that a hole had been cut in the fence, large enough for a single person. He examined the hole and could see the jagged edges in the metal. There was no doubt in his mind that someone had caused the damage for infiltration purposes, and it was recent. Not that it mattered, he had a job to do. The hole just made it easier. He swam through the opening, taking care not to come in contact with the fence. "What are their demands?" he asked. $30 billion, the colonel replied. $30 billion? What makes them think they can get that much? There's a government-sponsored tour going on at the Big Shell.
Snake understood. Hostages, huh?
A VIP from one of the major conservation groups, and one from our own government. The most important person, in a sense.
The most important person?
James Johnson.
The president? Snake was so stunned by the news that he stopped swimming. Johnson had been in office only a short time. In 2009, so he had been elected in like 2008.
Unless the demands are met, the terrorists intend to blow the Big Shell out of the water.
And the crude will ignite, turning the Manhattan Harbor into an inferno.
That's not the worst case scenario. If the chlorides being used to decontaminate the seawater go up with the oil, toxins containing catastrophic levels of dioxins will be released. In other words, the bay's ecosystem will be wiped out and the sea will turn into a toxic soup for centuries, becoming the worst environmental disaster in history.
Even worse than that one time when that one river caught on fire? I'm not making it up. Look it up. There was one river that caught on fire. I don't remember which one. I think it was in Chicago somewhere. But I might have made that up. Anyway. Because it was so polluted that, like, there was just a bunch of crap all in the river, and then, like, it caught on fire. Okay. Snake resumed his journey toward the structure. Dead fish also dotted the inside of the fence. Snake looked up at the surface and saw that the thick film of crude blocked out the sun entirely. Directly ahead of him, lights affixed to his strut pointed the way. He switched off the infrared, moved along the ocean floor, and located the plane's barnacle-infested maintenance outlet for strut A. He climbed the ladder into the hatch.
You have 2 objectives, the colonel continued. Number 1, infiltrate Big Cell and safeguard the president and other hostages. 2, disarm the terrorists by any means necessary. You should also know that SEAL Team 10 is also conducting a rescue operation at this moment.
Is this a joint effort?
No, Foxhound remains a covert body. Don't alarm them to your presence. Alert them to your presence. That's an order.
Snake broke the surface of the infiltration pool and quickly climbed the ladder into the deep sea dock. Several groupings of sea lice scattered out of his way. Snake looked at them with disgust and made sure none of them had attached themselves to him. A small 2-man deep-sea submarine was docked in the pool. "I'm now inside strut A of Big Shell 1, he announced.
"How are things?"
Snake looked around. The place was dimly lit and empty. Just in case, though, he reached for the M92F holstered at his waist. The lightweight handgun was perfect for infiltration ops, equipped with laser sighting and an optional suppressor. "We're in luck," he answered. "Looks like there's no sentries posted here."
"What's the visibility?"
"The lights on the plant struts are functioning. I won't have to use the II goggles."
"Any problems?"
"There's a brand new hole cut through the oil fence. There's someone besides me that wanted to get in badly."
"That's not possible."
"What about SEAL Team 10?
"They landed on the roof of the Big Shell as planned. And by the way, Snake, we're changing your code name for all following communications."
"What's wrong with Snake?"
"Just a precaution, you are now designated Raiden."
The colonel pronounced the name as Raiden with a long I. That's how it's pronounced. "I will eat you. I will eat you." The young operative blinked. He didn't particularly like the new name, but it wasn't his job to question authority.
All right, Raiden, you've already covered infiltration and VI training.
I've completed over 300 missions in VI. I feel like some kind of legendary mercenary.
But this will be
yes, VI. The most helpful thing ever. No, I don't trust VI because I watched Sword Art Online. Also, it's really expensive, so like, your girl don't have it. I can't afford it, man.
The M9 you already have, but other weapons and ammunition.
Wait.
But this will be your first sneaking mission. The M9 you already have, but other weapons and ammunition will have to be procured on site. Make sure nobody sees you. If you need to, contact me by codec. You know the frequency.
Right.
First, make your way to the upper section of the big shell.
How do I get to the next level?
There's an elevator at the far end of that area. Use that.
Raiden peered across the pool and saw the doors. Sounds good.
Your new sneaking suit uses electrofiber technology, a byproduct of fiber optics research. The texture isn't fiber made from rubber, but the material protects against a wide range of toxic substances. The suit itself has built-in sensors. It's referred to as smart skin in military R&D. Data about damage to different regions of the body, including blood loss, is exchanged between the suit and intravenous nanomachines to create a feedback system.
There's a lot of pressure on my torso.
Relax. The suit applies varying pressure to major internal organs to maximize performance and safeguard their functions. They call this the skull suit in Fox Sound.
Skull suit. Seems appropriate somehow. Indeed, the suit fitted Raiden's body so tightly that it was as if it were another layer of skin. The hood made Raiden's head appear like that of an ant. 2 egg-shaped eyepieces were the only facial features visible.
The elevator's on the other side of the hatch with a circular handle beyond the infiltration pool. Locate the hatch face.
Copy that. Moving on to main mission objectives. Anyway,